Hello student, today I am going to explain you first chapter of class 10th physics, force. Chapter first, force. Part A, movement of force and equilibrium. So today our topic will be movement of force and equilibrium of bodies. As we know, there are two types of motion. We can categorize motion into two categories. Let's see, straight line motion and second is rotation motion. Okay, we can categorize motion into two broad categories. First is straight line motion and second is rotation motion. The cause of straight line motion, what is it? It is force. Okay, all of you have known to force. If we apply some force on any object which is free to move, then it will move but in straight line. Always remember, if we apply, consider this is in a body, if we apply some force on this object which is free to move, then it will move in the direction of force, or you can say it will move in a straight line. So we can say the straight line motion of any object is due to force, or more precisely you can say net force. If we apply some net force, some non-zero net force on any object, it will move but in straight line. Now, what is rotation motion and the cause of rotation motion? You are familiar with many objects which performs rotation motion, such as motion of a fan, ceiling fan, motion of a steering. These are type of rotation motion. Then what is the cause of rotation motion? I will explain you with an example. Consider, this is an object, this is a rod, okay, and from where I hold it, this is pivoted point, you can say, axis of rotation. This is axis of rotation. From which point the body is pivoted is called axis of rotation. Now, if we apply some force at this point in upward direction, you will see the body move like this. It is called rotation motion. So rotation motion is the motion of any object about a fixed point, which is called axis of rotation. So if we apply force on this point of this pivoted body, a rod, then it will move like this. It will move on a circular path. Okay, the whole body moves on a circular path. It is called rotation motion. Then what is the cause of motion? You can say that I have applied the force on this point, so due to this force, object rotates. This object rotates. But if we apply this force at this point, what will be happen? The body does not rotate. Okay, if we apply force at this point, body rotates. If the point of application of force at this point, body also rotates. And if we apply the force at this point, whatever the force you apply, the object, this rod, does not rotate. Now, we can say the force is not a single factor which provides rotation motion. You see, with this example, if we apply the force on this point, the body rotates. If we apply the force on this point, body rotates. But if we apply the force on this point, body does not rotate. So we can say only force is not the factor which provide rotation. Something else with force which provides rotation motion. Then what is it? This is the distance from axis of rotation and point of application of force. Only force does not provide rotation. The perpendicular distance between line of action of force and axis of rotation is another factor which provides rotation. So consider we have a rod. This is axis of rotation. So if we apply force here, the body rotates. But if we apply this force here, the body does not rotate. So we can say force is not the only factor which provide rotation. Another factor is which provide rotation, force and the distance between line of action of force and axis of rotation. This distance, you can say it R. Got it? This distance is the perpendicular distance between line of action of force and axis of rotation. What is the line of action of force? This is the new term. Line of action of force. The line along which the force acts. This force is acting along this line. So this line will be the line of action of this force. And where is axis of rotation? This one. So we have to take the distance, perpendicular distance between line of action of force and axis of rotation. So these two factors, force and perpendicular distance between line of action of force and axis of rotation provide rotation. Okay, always remember, only force produces only straight line motion. If we apply some force on any object, it will move but in straight line. But if we apply some force on any pivoted object, then the force and the perpendicular distance both make this body to rotate. Okay, so there are two factors which provide rotation motion. First factor is force, and second factor is, this is an important factor, perpendicular distance between line of action of force and axis of rotation. And what is line of action of force? The direction, the line along which force acts. So both produce rotation motion. Now we can see the combined effect of force and this perpendicular distance produce rotation in a body which is pivoted at a point. Okay. So the combined effect of force and this distance is called moment of force or torque. Okay. So torque or moment of force, symbol torque, is equal to product of force and perpendicular distance. This distance is perpendicular distance between axis of rotation and line of action of force. Okay. So the combined effect of force and this perpendicular distance is represented by another physical quantity which is called moment of force or torque. And the formula for torque or moment of force is product of magnitude of force and perpendicular distance. This is very important. Perpendicular distance from where to where? From axis of rotation to line of action of force. This is called moment of force or torque. Now you can say the force produces straight line motion and this torque or moment of force produces rotation motion in a body which is pivoted at a point. In general, you can say what is moment of force. This is the formula in definition. You have to write. If you want to write the definition of moment of force, simply write it is the product of force and perpendicular distance between axis of rotation and line of action of force. This is definition. Okay. Now you can say it is measurement of tendency of rotation. Tendency of rotation or turning effect. Turning effect of force. The moment of force is also called measurement of tendency of rotation. How a body rotates about a fixed point, about an axis of rotation. It is told by this parameter, moment of force. It tells us about the tendency of rotation of a body. Higher the moment of force, higher the tendency of rotation of an object about axis of rotation. Okay, got it? Higher the moment of force or torque means object has higher tendency of rotation about a fixed point. So this is formula in definition and this is the general terms. You can say moment of force is also called measurement of tendency of rotation or turning effect of force. Now we have studied what is torque and what torque causes. Okay, it causes rotation motion. Now we have studied the formula for torque. SI unit of torque is equal to formula force into distance, D or R. You can use any of symbol. This is force and this is distance. So what is the SI unit of force? Newton, and for distance is meter. This is SI unit of torque. Newton, meter. Can you tell me another physical quantity which has the same SI unit of torque? This is work. Work is also force into displacement. You will study in next chapter about work, and both have same unit. Okay, but both are the different quantity, different physical quantity. Torque is different and work is different, quite different. But SI unit are same. So this is the SI unit for torque.